Let's go! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give out takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Friday, December 8th, 2023, and this is the preview for the Miami Dolphins taking on the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football. Extra day to prepare for the game. Usually there would be 2 more days until kickoff. There is 3. I'm still choosing to go with the schedule and do the preview on Friday. And I decided that I will have an extra video tomorrow to talk about. I will talk a lot about the Dolphins being the number 1 seed and why I feel like Dolphin fans need to be humble about that instead of bragging on social media. There's also a lot of Dolphin news that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Austin Jackson tomorrow, who just got re-signed for a new 3-year deal. Everything today is going to be Miami Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans because I'm very excited for this game. I'm pumped up. You guys know I'm going to be at the game. I want today to be about the Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football because obviously that's the most important thing. We should not be looking ahead at winning the division, even though that's a real possibility next week. The number 1 seed, the Baltimore Ravens, all this jazz. My main focus is beating the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football. So that's what I want the focus on to be in today's video. And then we're going to do an extra video tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Dolphins being the number 1 seed and why Dolphin fans need to be humble about that. We're going to talk about Austin Jackson's new contract with the Miami Dolphins. We're going to talk about the resurgence of the Miami Dolphins offensive line from offensive line coach Butch Barry. And with last night on Thursday Night Football, Ryan Fitzpatrick absolutely buried former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores about Tua Tagovailoa, and we're going to talk about that. And not only did he bury Tua Tagovailoa's confidence, he buried Austin Jackson's confidence. So we'll probably go for a 2-for-1 there. We'll talk about the Austin Jackson signing. We'll talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick absolutely toasting Brian Flores on the pregame show last night, Thursday Night Football. By the way, the New England Patriots, felt like it's been a while since they scored a touchdown. They scored 3 last night, and they actually upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-18 on Thursday Night Football. Hopefully, the New England Patriots keep winning so that Caleb Williams is not in the division next year. Even if Drake May's in the division, I would be okay with that. Caleb Williams is a generational talent, though. I don't want to have to deal with Caleb Williams for 2 games. So, New England Patriots, good win last night. Keep it up. Hope you keep it up. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, really quickly, they were 7-4 5 days ago. They woke up Sunday morning at 7-4. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals at home, 2-10 record. Then they played the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. New England Patriots, 2-10 record, and they lost. So they woke up Sunday morning at 7-4, and they wake up Friday morning at 7-6. Ouch. I apologize if you're a Steelers fan out there. But we are going to get into the game on Monday night. And by the way, I know there's a lot of Steelers fans. I have a lot of Steelers fans that watch this channel. So that's why I kind of did a little fun dig at Steelers fans. I apologize. But we're going to get into this game on Monday night between the Miami Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, they are 4-8, and they're coming off a very heartbreaking loss to the Indianapolis Colts. If there was any hope for the Tennessee Titans to stay in playoff contention, the Indianapolis Colts took that right away from them. Now, this is the second week in a row where the Dolphins are going to be facing a team where the team they're playing fired a coordinator, because Monday was a busy day for the Tennessee Titans. They fired special teams coordinator. I don't remember who his name was, but they fired their special teams coordinator after 2 blocked punts in a row. And for the result of that, on the second blocked punt, punter Ryan Stonehouse injured his knee. It looked horrible. He had to get surgery on it, and he's out for the season. So there's that. Jeffrey Simmons is on IR. I don't know if he's on IR, but he's going to be missing a couple of games. He will not be playing Monday night against the Miami Dolphins, which is huge for the Dolphins running game, which I will talk about. That's a huge loss for the Tennessee Titans, as Jeffrey Simmons is the heart and soul of that defense. And then also, Derrick Henry took a huge hit in the fourth quarter of that game. Was out because of concussion protocol, but he's fine, and he's going to be playing on Monday night. But you look at this Tennessee Titans team. They are a scrappy bunch, and they've played in a lot of one-possession games. You know, you look at their schedule through the season. I'll go through it real quick. For those of you who don't watch a lot of Tennessee Titans football, they lost to the Saints week 1, 16-15. They beat the Los Angeles Chargers 27-24 in overtime. They lost to the Cleveland Browns 27-3. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals 27-3. They lost to the Indianapolis Colts 23-16. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 24-16. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 28-23. They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-16. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-6. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars 34-14. They beat the Carolina Panthers 17-10. And they lost to the Indianapolis Colts last weekend 31-28. So this Titans team has played in a lot of low-scoring games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've played in 8 one-score games, and they've only won 3 of them. And sometimes for the teams that play in a lot of close games, it depends on which side the ball is going to roll on, and it's rolled onto the bad side for the Tennessee Titans, as a lot of these one-score games they have lost this season. They're a scrappy bunch. They love to run the football. They have a 1-2 combo with Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears, which we will talk about. And they kind of remind me of that old school New England Patriots. You know, we're going to be in a dogfight with you, because Mike Vrabel is from the Belichick coaching tree, and that's his style of football. So we're going to get into all of it, and if you have not already, be sure to go ahead and check out the post-game recap video I did for the Miami Dolphins against the Washington Commanders on Sunday. Be sure to go ahead and check that out. And also, predictions for Week 14. We are off, I'm sure as many people are, we're off to our 0-1 start this week. So I hope to pick it up on Sunday. And I said in that video that I was 50-50 on the Bills and the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs had just listed 4 starters out for Sunday's game, and this is the biggest game of the season for the Buffalo Bills. I'm taking the Bills to win. So, let's get into this game. The Miami Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans. First up, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans offense against the Miami Dolphins defense in this game. Titans, they are 27th overall in offense with 292 yards per game. The Miami Dolphins are ranked 6th on defense with only 300 yards allowed per game. Again, the progression since the beginning of the season has been remarkable for this defense. The Titans' passing game is ranked 24th with 206 yards per game. The Dolphins' passing defense is ranked 11th with 226.5 yards allowed per game. The Tennessee Titans' rushing offense is ranked 17th, right in the middle of the pack, at 109 yards per game. And the Dolphins' run defense is ranked 8th with 900. What the fuck, dude? 96.5 rushing yards allowed per game for the Miami Dolphins. And by the way, before we get into this, the Titans offense against the Dolphins defense, it is kind of breaking news. The Miami Dolphins are going to be wearing their aqua uniforms for the first time all season. Every game this season, the Miami Dolphins have worn white jerseys. They wore throwback jerseys in Week 8 against the Patriots, which was fire, but they wore white throwback jerseys because it was a 1 o'clock game in the sun, and they didn't want to wear, they wanted to wear white. So, primetime game at home, the Miami Dolphins are going to be rocking their aqua jerseys. So, you absolutely love to see it. I'm sure next week against the New York Jets, they'll be back to their white jerseys. And then the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be wearing their throwbacks against the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve. So, first of all, let's talk about this Dolphins defense real quick. I thought they played really good last week against the Commanders. And you can talk about how bad the Washington Commanders are. But the fact of the matter is, folks, Sam Howell, going into last week, Sam Howell was leading the league in passing yards. And the Miami Dolphins, they held Sam Howell to only 127 passing yards. And he looked uncomfortable. He only scored, the only touchdowns they scored were Sam Howell rushing touchdowns, where Sam Howell had to scramble out of the pocket and all that jazz, and he made some nice plays. A main thing that we pointed out last week was that the Washington Commanders' offensive line gave up a lot of pressures. And the Dolphins got 3 sacks on the Washington Commanders. Doing some research, folks, the Tennessee Titans' offensive line is worse than the Washington Commanders. They are a bottom 5 offensive line in the NFL. They're giving up a lot of sacks. They have given up 42 sacks this year between Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, and Will Levis, who is now the starting quarterback over Ryan Tannehill. I kind of wish that Tannehill was playing in this game because he's a former Miami Dolphin. He was here for 7 years. But I am totally okay with Will Levis. I think Will Levis against Tua Tagovailoa is actually a pretty solid quarterback matchup for a primetime game. But you look at this Tennessee Titans offensive line, and they have Jalen Duncan at left tackle. This season, they signed Andre Dillard to a 2-year deal, I think. I'm not sure. But Andre Dillard was playing so bad that he was benched. And now on the Tennessee Titans website, he's listed as a backup. The Titans have Jalen Duncan as their starting left tackle. The rookie from Northwestern, Peter Skoronski, is their left guard. Aaron Brewer is their center, who is banged up. Their right guard, Daniel Brunskill, and right tackle, Dylan Radunz. So the Titans' offensive line, they're not good. They give up a lot of pressures, and as I said, they've given up 42 sacks this season, which is top five, in the NFL for most sacks allowed as an offensive lineman. And I just realized in my head, while I'm talking about the Tennessee Titans offensive line, I forgot to tell you the injury report. So really quickly, we're going to go through the injury report right now. Nothing's official because they have practice tomorrow. So we'll know tomorrow if players are out or not. But we kind of have a good idea. We'll start with the Dolphins. Jerome Baker and Robert Hunt did not practice. Robert Hunt re-aggravated his hamstring against the Washington Commanders. I don't expect him to play this week on Monday night. Teron Armstead, after did not practice yesterday, was limited today at practice. We'll see how he goes tomorrow, but I would not be shocked if Teron Armstead doesn't play in this game. If I'm being honest with you guys, no disrespect to the Tennessee Titans, but the Miami Dolphins do not need Teron Armstead to beat the Tennessee Titans, in my opinion. Even last week, when both Armstead and Hunt were out, they looked just fine. Chris Brooks was limited. Tyreek Hill was limited after a vet rest day. Javon Holland, who didn't play last week because of his knees, he was limited today. So if he's able to play on Monday night, that would be a huge boost. Kendall Lamb was limited. Raheem Mostert was limited. And Durham Smythe was limited at practice today. The ones you need to look out for, Rob Hunt, I don't think is going to play Monday night. Jerome Baker, we already know, is not playing. But the ones that we need to look out for are Teron Armstead, Javon Holland, and Kendall Lamb, to see if any of those three are able to go. If Armstead is not going to be able to play and Kendall Lamb is, I would expect Kendall Lamb to be at left tackle, even though last week when Teron Armstead did go out with an injury, Keon Smith was going right into the game. But this week I expect it to be Lamb if Armstead doesn't play, and I don't expect Armstead to be playing on Monday night. They look at the Tennessee Titans. They're pretty banged up. I'm not going to lie. The Titans are banged up. Cornerback Kristen Fulton did not practice for 2 days in a row. I don't expect him to play. Linebacker Joe Jones did not practice Thursday or Friday. Defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons did not practice Thursday or Friday. Punter Ryan Stonehouse did not. I think he's out for the season. I read reports that he's out for the season, so I don't know why he's on the injury report. And then all their other players are limited. Derrick Henry was a limited participant in practice, but I expect him to play on Monday night. Okay, back to the matchup. I forgot about the injury report. That's my fault. I apologize. Back to the game. The Tennessee Titans offensive line stinks. They cannot protect Will Levis. Will Levis has to get rid of the ball really quickly. And what I told you guys is that the Titans are a scrappy bunch. They fight. They're not a terrible team in my opinion. They're just, everybody knows that the Titans are a rebuilding team. And even with Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, right now, in my opinion, the Tennessee Titans are a rebuilding team. Ever since they had their collapse last year when they were 7-3 and they lost 7 in a row to end the season, the Titans are in rebuild mode. But the Titans are a scrappy bunch. And what the Titans are going to want to do in this game is they are going to want to run the ball. And Jerome Baker, who's a good run stopper for the Miami Dolphins, is not on the field. And Duke Riley had a really good performance last week. Duke Riley got a 91 grade in PFF. That's one of the highest rated linebackers of last week. Duke Riley was awesome against the Washington Commanders. But can he do it for another week? I think, and this is my theory of this, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to test Duke Riley and Andrew Van Ginkel. And whenever Gink is in the game, on the opposite side is Bradley Chubb, and the Titans are running the ball, I think they're going to run the ball opposite of where Bradley Chubb and David Long are. They're going to run it towards Andrew Van Ginkel and Duke Riley. So I really think with Jerome Baker's presence in the running game and how really good he is, I think this is a big test for Duke Riley in this game to stop a running back like Derrick Henry, who is second in the NFL in rushing yards behind Christian McCaffrey. He has 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. And not only do they have Derrick Henry, but they've got a good rookie running back in Tajay Spears, who has 329 rushing yards and a touchdown this season. But he's coming along really nicely for the Miami Dolphins, and I would look out for him in the running game and the passing game because he can be a dynamic back as well. He's really good behind Derrick Henry. But this is how the Dolphins are going to this is how the Dolphins are going to succeed on defense. It's going to be stopping Derrick Henry. And a main thing that we have to point out this week is tackling. Because Derrick Henry is a big, strong running back. And if you let him loose, Derrick Henry's going to kill you. And the Titans are going to be in this game by the fourth quarter. So, let's get into these keys. My 3 keys for the Miami Dolphins defense. Number 1, I basically just talked about it, is to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry cannot get loose on these big runs. Like I said, the Tennessee Titans are going to be testing Andrew Van Ginkel and Duke Riley in the running game. They have to be ready to wrap up and tackle a big guy like Derrick Henry. Because if not, Derrick Henry could kill you. He really could. So, that is the main priority for the defense, is to stop Derrick Henry. Because if you're stopping Derrick Henry and you have a lead, which we'll talk about in the offense when we get to the Dolphins offense against the Titans defense, what was I going to say? If you build a lead, then you're going to have to put the ball in the hands of Will Levis. And you're going to be like, okay, Will Levis has to win you this game. And I would say Will Levis has not had a great game since his opener against the Atlanta Falcons. You look at his past couple weeks, 16 for 33, 224 yards and a touchdown. That's a decent game. Carolina, 18 for 28, 185 yards. Jacksonville, 13 for 17, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay Bucks, 19 for 39, 199 yards and 1 touchdown. So when the game has to be won in the hands of Will Levis, he doesn't come through. And the Tennessee Titans are not a team who is built to come from behind and win games. And that brings me to number 2, is to make Will Levis uncomfortable. The Dolphins made Sam Howell pretty uncomfortable last week, and Sam Howell was running for his life. And the Dolphins baited him into a pick 6. Andrew Van Ginkel was getting a lot of pressure. Duke Riley was all over the place. Zach Sealer came over like a grizzly bear, sacking Sam Howell. Get the pressure to Will Levis. And with how bad this offensive line is, the Dolphins can absolutely get pressure with Van Ginkel, with Bradley Chubb, with Roquan Davis, with Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, they can get pressure to Will Levis and get home. I'm fully confident about that. And the last key for the defense is locking down DeAndre Hopkins. This is not the same DeAndre Hopkins as his second year with the Houston Texans, but DeAndre Hopkins is not having a bad season. He has 50 receptions, 774 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I don't know if they're going to be overshadowing DeAndre Hopkins. I would assume that's not the main concern. The main concern is going to be Derrick Henry this week. But, I think it'll be on and off with who is going to be lined up against DeAndre Hopkins. There will be times where Jalen Ramsey is lined up against DeAndre Hopkins. There will be times when Xavier Howard is lined up against DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe the Titans put DeAndre Hopkins in the slot and he's being matched up against Kader Kohou. I don't know, but I do know that shut down DeAndre Hopkins just like they shut down Terry McLaurin last week. And Will Levis is going to be throwing the ball to either he's going to be checking the ball down to Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. He's going to be throwing it to Chris Moore. He's going to be throwing it to Ching Okongwu. He's going to be throwing it to Nick Westbrook-Akine. I like our chances shutting down DeAndre Hopkins and making Will Levis, not throw to DeAndre Hopkins because he's being clamped down by Jalen Ramsey, and you still throw it to DeAndre Hopkins, that ball's getting picked, baby. So those are the 3 keys. Stopping Derrick Henry, not letting him loose, get home to Will Levis, and shutting down DeAndre Hopkins. They shut down Terry McLaurin last week. I think this week they can shut down DeAndre Hopkins. Let's get into the Miami Dolphins offense against the Tennessee Titans defense. This is the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll wrap it up. The Titans defense is ranked 17th with 337 yards allowed per game. Dolphins offense is ranked first with 428.5 yards per game. The Titans passing defense is ranked 23rd with 249.5 yards allowed per game through the air. Their secondary stinks. Just like Washington, folks, their secondary stinks. And I don't think they match up good against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Last week, they allowed 105 yards to Michael Pittman Jr., and they allowed 100 yards to Alec Pierce. So, if they allowed 200-yard receivers from the Indianapolis Colts, there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be 200-yard receivers for the Miami Dolphins. And then the Titans' run defense is ranked 13th with 106.5 rushing yards allowed per game. A lot of that has to do with Jeffrey Simmons. We'll talk about that. And then the Dolphins' running game is ranked second with 143.5 yards per game on the ground. Jeffrey Simmons is out. That's a big loss for the Tennessee Titans. Let me see who they have on the depth chart for Jeffrey Simmons. Jaleel Johnson. He is Jeffrey Simmons, the heart and soul of that Titans defense. Kristen Fulton, I don't think is going to be playing, so you replace him with Trey Avery. Sean Murphy-Bunting and Roger McCray are your 2 top corners. Folks, this Titans secondary stinks. They traded away Kevin Byard to the Philadelphia Eagles at the trading deadline. And like I said, they just allowed 200-yard receivers against the Indianapolis Colts. I think in this game, the Miami Dolphins are gonna have to do uh, more pass plays to open up opportunities for the run. Because every time when we talk about it on here, when we do previews on here, we always talk about how running the football sets up opportunities for throwing the ball downfield. Well, I think with how bad the Titans secondary is, throwing the football will set up opportunities to run the ball. Because, say early in the game, the Dolphins are flying down the field, throwing it to Tyreek, throwing it to Waddle, Achane's getting in on the action, right? And the Titans have two safeties 15 yards, 20 yards back, expecting Tyreek and Waddle to be running down the field. That opens up an opportunity for Raheem Mostert to pick up a couple yards on the ground. That opens up an opportunity for Devon Achane to pick up a couple yards from the ground. And that's how you can get your run game going. So let's get into the keys. This is my number one. You have to start fast. You have to start fast in this game, because if you get out to an early lead like you did last week, like when you were up 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, if that happens again against the Tennessee Titans, the playbook goes away, the game plan goes away, and the Titans are going to be strictly throwing the ball. And that's what you want. You want the game in the hands of Will Levis. So the Dolphins have to start fast. They can't come out to a slow start like they did against the Carolina Panthers, like they did against the Philadelphia Eagles, like they did against the Las Vegas Raiders. They have to start fast. Let the Titans play catch up, and the Titans are not a good team. They're not a type of team that is going to come from behind down 17 points and win. So the Dolphins have to start fast. Number two is to take advantage of this poor secondary matchup. Last week, the Washington Commanders had the audacity to play Tyreek Hill man. They manned up against Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill made them pay for it. Wes Welker said it best on Hard Knocks. If they play man against you, that's like stealing. So if the Titans play man against the Dolphins, which I don't think Mike Vrabel's as stupid of a coach as Ron Rivera is, then you have to take your shot to Tyreek Hill. You have to take your shot to Waddle. In the first touchdown of the game where Tua threw it to Tyreek, if you noticed on the right side, Devon Achane was wide open. So if Tua threw it to Achane was scoring a touchdown. But Tua threw it to Tyreek instead, which is no problem. You have to take advantage of that. And number three, always protect Tua Tagovailoa. Protect Tua. Let him get the ball out. He's the quickest quarterback in the NFL when it comes to getting rid of the football, and the Dolphins will be just fine. So get out to a fast start. Take advantage of the Titans' poor secondary and protect Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how the offensive line is going to be this week. Let me see. Rob Jones was a full participant again. So this is not official. This is just a prediction. I'm going to say Kendall Lamb starts at left tackle. Rob Jones starts at left guard. Connor Williams at center, Eichenberg at right guard, Austin Jackson at right tackle. That's what I think you're going to see on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans. So that's all I got for tonight. Tomorrow I'll have more. We're going to talk about everything I mentioned in the beginning. It won't be a long video. I got to pack tomorrow. I head out to Fort Lauderdale Sunday morning, and I will get there around 1 o'clock during the 1 o'clock games. And on Monday, I will be at the Miami Dolphins tailgate at East 12 Orange Lot. So I'm looking forward to meeting up with a lot of Miami Dolphin fans there. That's if I can find my way there. Hopefully, I'm not clueless and I get lost. Hopefully not. But I'm so excited for Monday night. There's going to be a vlog, 100%. I got an email from the Miami Dolphins going over the schedule for Monday. There's going to be a light show at 8 o'clock inside Hard Rock Stadium. That's going to be so fire. I can't wait. And they're giving away glow-in-the-dark t-shirts too. So I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. We got some great content. You are not going to want to miss the vlog Monday night. I don't know when I'm going to post it. I'm going to be at the airport early on Tuesday, so I might put it up Monday night. So there's that. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Comment down below if you're a Dolphins or Titans fan. Who do you think is going to win this game on Monday night? So that's all I got. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy and fins up.